Madam Chairman, I move to raise and appropriate the amount of $1,500,000 from the surplus or the fund balance, and to raise and appropriate no more than $13,885,116 from taxation, to be raised by taxation.
I will second that.
Well, that, we worked our way into that last number.
I recognize.
We can't appropriate that.
Well, at this, until we have the final numbers
Yeah.
from her, it will have to be adjusted.
Yeah, we can't, I mean, whatever number's in there adds up, and then the calculations, that line's a calculated line. We're not ready to, until we have everything else, to have a number.
Absolutely, but we're not ready to vote on the final budget until the administrative office has got everything together, so we'll know what the difference is.
Can we divide the question, the motion? The unfunded balance is one item, and the raising by taxes is another item.
Well, it would give us the difference between the two very quickly, so it'd be easy to see what we've got for a difference. To see what the amount would be raised by taxation, because that would be the final vote. That's up to you. A motion to the question to divide the
I
question.
think they're two different animals, is why I suggest if we're gonna have motion, we divide the question. I mean, because we need a specific number in order to then calculate the other number. You can't put in a number and also put in the answer.
Okay, would it be with a goal, with the objective? And
We'll
insert
get,
the word.
we'll see after the number comes out and there's a calculation, we'll see.
So can I amend to just go for the appropriation that we would take for the surplus and the fund balance?
Let me do
And
that.
we'll leave the final thing out. So I'm going to amend my motion
And I will accept your motion.
to raise and appropriate the amount of $1,500,000 from the surplus fund balance.
Correct. And,
Just
yes,
so that I understand the surplus fund balance, does that affect our bond rating?
no.
Yes.
Yes, it does.
I think it does.
Okay, so the commissioners recommended to this delegation to use $2 million from the fund balance, which last year we
So
put
we just
in.
loan it to 1,500,000.
That is correct.
Exactly.
And last year we put in, we believe, somewhere in the vicinity of $1.8 million. We haven't seen the numbers. That was a request of the
Well, maybe we
commissioners.
should wait to see all the numbers.
Many times in writing, many times.
Excuse
Start,
me.
I cannot continue to excuse you because people should have the right information. That fund balance has been presented to you many times.
I think you misunderstood.
You must have.
The fund balance, the amount, it is not an argument about what the fund balance is. The question that this delegation has no knowledge of for final numbers is how much excess revenue and under expenses that get fed into the fund balance from 2013, once those books were closed. We know it's in the vicinity of $1.8 million, roughly. We don't have those numbers. It was the request that is supposed to come to the delegation by mid-February, and it was the request I had for Commissioner Nadeau that we will need. But regardless, the motion on the floor, instead of using the recommended $2 million that the commissioners had recommended, the motion on the floor is to use $1,500,000 from fund balance. Yes, Deborah?
I just wanted, I know you haven't asked, but people may wonder the impact of that. And so I will just mention that the impact of that is to increase the amount to be raised by taxes by $500,000.
Well, hopefully by our actions, that will not be the case.
That is
So,
helpful.
well,
You'd have to add to the budget $500,000.
we, between the motions that have been done, we will, as soon as your department can get us the results of tonight's actions, we'll be able to determine that.
Why can't we wait another week or whatever to get this information so we're very clear what really happened?
Well, I think we're pretty
Because I'm not
close.
clear, I've heard them present us with the fund balance before, And there's no reason that some of you reps couldn't go in the office and get all this information that we've been for weeks doing, which you don't do. And when you do get something, you ask for more when you come to the meeting, instead of getting it ahead of time. You people never get it ahead of time. I go in the office and I get all the information I need constantly.
Thank you, Representative. Yes, Representative.
I'm the one that sent an email to the commissioners last week. And I said, this is necessary for us to know what has been excess in 2013 that would go into the fund balance or we use. Now, when we had the initial commissioner's proposed budget presented, I did stay right here and said I agree with what they were proposing from the fund balance, 2 million, based on the first report that they gave us in January, 7th of January. And it actually showed the difference between the unanticipated revenue, in other words, excess revenue collected, and the unspent expenditures. Those are what make up your change in the fund balance from the end of 2013 to the beginning. And it was, at those time, I calculated it out, was $2,025,000. So I said that's an appropriate number. The subsequent spreadsheets we've had, it's much lower. It's around 1.8, I think. But until we pin that number down, and I've always looked for this February 15 deadline, that's when they have to send the report to the Secretary of State, to all the towns in the city and to us. That's when we know for sure what the official number is. Until we know that, we never know what the next spreadsheet's going to say for 2013, because and we're 6 weeks past 2013. That says it will be sent out prior to February 15. That's the law. So we don't have that. So I endorse the 1.5 because everything otherwise, we're drawing down the fund balance, and with the jail looking at us and the bond rating, it's not prudent.
Essentially the goal of this is that we hopefully raise no more from taxation than we did last year, but we also do not tap into all of the fund balance. There's many schools of thought, but we as a delegation know that there is a jail in front of us. It's not $43 million, but it's somewhere between 10 million, 15 million, 20 million. We need some help, some assistance to the taxpayers when that time comes. And so I guess I look at it as that may be the savings account that we're going to need to tap when that time comes. So.
You know, you keep saying to taxpayers all the time, and that's okay, because I like to still do what I can to help the taxpayers, because I pay taxes too. But I get tired of you saying you're taxpayers constantly. I mean, that's all you do here. And you live on that, so that it helps you, whatever you're doing in your town. And then Rep. Biden, who sits on the board up there in the selectmen, he voted for all the health benefits in Meredith. So then he comes here and takes all of ours away. So I don't understand the reason behind that either. So there you go.
That's enough.
So the public should know that too.
Representative,
budget meeting or
this is not an
It's a budget meeting, and I'm speaking my piece about it. It's about the budget.
Okay.
He can come down here and not, but he can't in Meredith.
Representative Fields, there is a motion.
I know you
Second.
don't like what I have to say. I know there's a motion on the floor, so let's go to it.
Thank you.
You got it.
Representative.
Virtual,
Yes.
Francois,
Yes.
Williams, yes. Fields,
No.
Fink,
Yes.
Greenmore,
Yes.
Gulick,
Abstain.
Luther,
No.
Raymond,
No.
Sylvia,
Yes.
Tilton,
Yes.
Vadney,
Yes.
Horstman.
Yes.
9-3 with an abstention.
And I have one motion that I would like to make. We've heard on a number of occasions that grants are off budget. So my motion is simple, is that all grants be both received and expended through the budget, and that no grants be used, applied for, without their being appropriated and expensed through the budget. And the second from
I got a
Representative
question,
Sylvia.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
How do we know what grants coming in before we can even judge what kind of grant or what the number's gonna be before you even apply for a grant? So for me, I can't stand here and say, okay, we're gonna do this for the grant when I don't even know what grant's coming. I guess maybe somewhere.
Yes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I strongly support that motion, and actually, I was going to speak to the fellow that earlier tonight brought up the grant issue. I think it's an important issue, not only for the budget itself being managed, but the state law very correctly put the delegation as an oversight group for the county, because of the, in our case, 11 different municipalities, it would be difficult to do on a total vote level. So the delegates are the closest you come to a legislative body. And the grant issue is one that you might say, well, gosh, if somebody's going to give us money, why don't we just sign up and take it? You know, why should it have oversight? First, there have been cases around the country and around New Hampshire where money was accepted from, shall we say, nefarious sources, or money that would be considered unclean by some people, and it's caused problems. That's one thing you try to avoid. You have to also be careful that you don't take grants that may look like a wonderful idea for the county in a particular year, but they start a programming process that is going to live beyond the grant and cost of money. And there's been a number of those in the last few years. And one of the biggest, by the way, was the stimulus package. Good deal of the last 3 or 4 years, and this year, last year's argument on the delegation is at least in part due because there were lots of stimulus monies, and I don't know, 10 or whatever it was. And when those ended, we found that we'd gone to a level of spending that couldn't be sustained. And so grant oversight, to me, is a major function, and the state law requires that we do it. So I guess the real question is why we have to do it.
I wasn't saying we can't do it. What I was saying is, how do we know how to anticipate what grant? I don't mind if we, when it comes in, if we appropriate and whatever, that we can deal with it. But what I'm saying is, how can we say now that we want to control grants when we don't even know what type or what's going on? Maybe I'm losing something. Or maybe Deb could answer, or Steve, about the grant, because you guys got me totally confused with this.
Thank you.
And
Wait a
we've
minute.
always
Is
done
this a
grants.
response?
We've done it in every county that I've been in.
Response.
And how do you do it in your town?
Same way.
Representative Fields, if you'll let him respond, and then Representative Gulab. It's just in response to his question.
It's fine.
No, his point is why we do it. How do we do it in the towns? The town selectmen review all grants.
And that's what administration does when the agency applies for the grant, the commissioners will review the grant.
But to the other half
So
of this
now you're
question-
saying we need to do it.
The other half of your question was what if they came in and they weren't anticipated? This delegation may meet mostly in January and February, but we're in session the entire 2 years. And if a grant should come on the horizon and need some kind of approval, they can bring it to us, and we can call an executive committee, and we can call a full delegation meeting. And that's the way it ought to be done, in my estimation.
Yes, Representative
Thank you,
Gulab.
Madam Chair. With all due respect, Representative Badley, that is a total misreading of the RSA, and if you look at it and read it carefully and properly, the review of grants is not prospective, it's retrospective. It is not prospective. This vote is totally against the RSA. If we take it even, it's ridiculous. It is retrospective, not prospective.
A second, okay. The motion is a motion and a second on the floor.
Can you just reiterate the motion so that we get...
All grants be both received and expended through the budget, and the second half of that,
And we're exceeding our power.
That No, that was it, that all, yeah, all grants be
Received and expended.
both appropriated and expended through the delegation voted budget.
So if it's voted and we get a grant, how can we have to come back and vote again? That's-
Supplemental appropriation, or whatever, yes, indeed.
Are you concerned at all about the fact that this might wind up in court? That we're doing once again something that's illegal?
No, I am not, according to the
don't think
law.
so.
It is part of what our responsibilities are. Thank you.
Can I suggest the amendment to your wording to
Please.
make it a policy that, whatever it is that you propose, because that's literally the way the RSA reads, the county convention may adopt a policy regarding acceptance of grants.
Thank you.
Okay,
So
so
this is a policy doing what you say.
Correct.
policy, so it would be a policy that all grants be both appropriated and expended through the delegation voted budget.
Correct. Per RSA 2414.
So who's going to apply for the grant?
2414?
Who applies for the grant?
Yes, Commissioner.
Yes, thanks. In November, we got a request for a grant. It's a CDBG grant, Community Block Development Grant. And that was for $500,000. We gave that to the city of Laconia. It came to us in November, had to be out by the first of the year, which we did.
And we met a couple of times in December. We had time to.
But it doesn't require you.
It is important that
It's important that we got the grant out. That's what we were looking at, that we had a time restraint. So are you saying that now, in the last 3 years, we've given Representative Tilton's city and Bob's city $1.5 million? You want us to stop that?
No, I think that is awesome. I just want to ensure that the taxpayers know that money is coming in and where it is being spent. Because even though we look at grants as money, perhaps free, it is the taxpayers who live in these communities. It is all of us who pay our taxes to Washington that creates these grants. So nothing is free. So to keep it off budget, which is the part that has been making the hairs on the back of my neck stand on end, anything off budget makes me concerned, so.
Madam Chair, are you suggesting that we've had secret grants that have not been publicized, that are not available to the public, that all of a sudden we have to be the ones to be the clarion call to the public of grants? They are all public. What we're doing is just another power grab, and it's ridiculous. It's illegal, too.
Thank you. Representative Cormier.
I applaud this policy. We have the ability in the RSA to make this policy.
No, we don't.
And I feel that it's very important in the day of free money from Washington, where there are mandated outcomes, we've seen it time and again, that are put on these communities or counties. I believe that we would not be doing, our due diligence if we did not have these grants pass through and come back and be expended in the budget process. It just seems very, very easy to see. Can you call the roll? I
Is
assume it's
there
roll
any
call.
other discussion on this motion?
Roll call. Virtual.
Yes.
Plumcott. Cormier, yes. Fields.
No.
Fink. Greenmore.
Yes.
Kulik.
No.
Luther.
No.
Raymond.
No.
Sylvia.
Yes.
Tilton.
Yes.
Dabney.
Yes.
Worsman.
Yes.
9-4.
The motion passes. Okay. Is there anything else regarding the budget? Okay. We have a meeting set up for for Thursday, but I am trying to listen to the delegates, and I think we also have a meeting posted for next Tuesday. I would ask the administrator, when will your department be able to get us the results of tonight's vote so that we can see what the budget looks like?
can't tell you tomorrow because I won't be able to do that, but, so we'll need a couple of days.
Okay, so but we would be able to see it by the weekend, so we have an opportunity to review it. So,
We cancel Thursday, we back Tuesday.
that's where I'm
Well, we do
trying.
that Monday, because we're gonna be in committees all day. I won't be up until at least 6.
What do we have posted?
It's, what's posted is Tuesday.
Well, we can repost it, we got time.
No, we don't.
We don't?
No, we do not.
No, I'll do my best to get here.
Okay, so, but
It's pretty hard when we
just
got
in
one
case
thing
we
to
do
say.
need it, could we kindly post a second meeting for next week for Thursday? Just in case we need to. We understand that we've got the tax anticipation note that is resting on the decisions of this delegation. And I would like to see what we can do about getting the vote on this budget done, if not Tuesday, then for certain by Thursday.
We have till
Five
March
o'clock.
31st.
5 o'clock, does 5 o'clock work for everybody on Thursday? So we will cancel this Thursday's meeting in deference to all of the reasons, and I think that they are valid. So we will have a meeting here on Tuesday at 5 o'clock. And you should have a whole weekend, and hopefully maybe even Friday, to, as soon as Deb's office can get us the budget, to look at it carefully, see what is left for the amount raised by taxation. And we may have to come back to the drawing board. We've worked hard to try to be as careful as we can be. So if you would all please schedule yourselves some time on Friday, and over the weekend to look at the budget. We'll come back on Tuesday and hopefully cast our vote for the budget. Yes, Representative Brewer.
Madam Chair, I plan to go forward with talking to the AG's office about what I believe was a legal vote to pass last budget. And I sort of don't want to do this independently, and I would like maybe somebody to come along with me, or I can collaborate with somebody who disagrees with me and thinks that last week's vote was perfect. It was imperfect. I thought it was perfect, but who disagrees with me. So I would like that to happen, and if nobody's interested, I'll just do it by myself, I guess. Anyway, the invitation's there.
That is certainly up to whomever would like to join you. It would need to be obviously somebody who was present at the meeting, so.
You tell me right now, if there's a big snowstorm on Tuesday, we still gonna meet? I just wanna know so I can get here early in the morning.
Well,
It
Representative,
won't do any good, because they got the boats anyway, so it won't matter what we do.
Representative, if we're working in Concord, then most of us came straight from Concord to here, so. There's
Motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Is the public, no public?
We had,
That was about the executive meeting. I thought it was only about the executive meeting.
that was,
Okay, all right, okay.
okay. Motion has been made to adjourn, all in favor? Any opposed? Okay.
Croc TV.